All right. Yes. Which screen are you seeing right now? Okay. I think it's the right one.
Yes.
All right. Get my information up here. All right. Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gary Bryant. I serve as one of the directors in our area called Student Engagement, and we are under the Division of Student Life. And I wanted to first start and make my VP happy by going with our mission statement. I won't read the whole thing. I'll let you all take care of it. But so our VP of our Division of Student Life is Dr. Heather White. Um, she's made her way through. She used to lead Career Connections Center. She used to lead Dean of Students Office, and now she leads the Division of Student Life. And she's an awesome individual. And then my boss and the overseer of student engagement is Dr. James Tiger. So he oversees the 5 departments that make up student engagement. And we are what's good about our departments is we're all student facing. So whether we're doing things for the student body or doing things for the student groups on campus, which I'll get into later, everything is about entertainment for students, leadership, networking, all the above. We're all funded off of a fee called the Activity and Service Fee. It's a part of tuition. It's about $19.06. It forms our annual $23 million budget. That budget is then split between, they consider it the bigs, rec sports, rights union, student engagement, and student government. So everybody gets a cut of that 23 million for the year. All right. So these are all our departments under Division of Student Life. There's quite a few. The ones in blue are the ones that we'll go over today under student engagement. But as you can see, we have a lot of departments. A lot of them, their purposes are to serve the students. Many of them are housed here in the Rec Union, and then abroad, like housing is all over the place. But Career Connection Center is also in this building. Uh, Brown Center for Leadership and Service is in this building. Event services, let me go some more. And of course, Rights Union itself and Student Legal Services. So Student Legal Services is a department here on the 3rd floor in the Rights Union, and they provide free legal assistance to students as long as it's non-criminal. But they serve basically the entire student body, and I know when they give their presentations, they show that they save the students a lot of money because they're not having to pay those attorney fees. Yeah. All right. So these are the departments I'm going to talk about today. And again, all of these departments are here at the Rights Union on the 3rd floor, with the exception of Community Belonging. They have offices on the 2nd and the 3rd floor. But we're all pretty close to each other. We all interact. We have a lot of face-to-face time between the departments here on their student engagement. Just another graphic. One of the things about the departments here is, as you can see in the pictures, there's always fun events going on, whether it's Greek life, we have step shows. You probably see Bid Week with everybody walking around with their decorated helmets, and that's for sorority function. When it comes to community belonging, we'll get into that later as well, but we have about 11, last count, we have about 1,100 registered student groups on campus, and they all have to go through community belonging to get their registration set up. They all have constitutions that are filed, officers that they have to name, and that department handles all of those student groups. Campus engagement is more campus-wide activities, and we'll get into that later as well. So big student event activities where any of our 60,000 can come and attend. And then with student government, these are our current execs at the moment. This is our student body president, vice president, and treasurer. Blake in the middle is the president. Johanna on the left is our current treasurer, and Jade is our current VP. And they help run the student government services. All right. Just us, the directors, myself again. I've been here about 9 years in the Division of Student Life. Originally was just under student engagement, and now I'm fortunate enough to work with all the departments that we're going to go over today. I handle, myself and my team, we handle the finance and the HR duties for our area. And then next is Simone Horman. She's the director for Sorority and Fraternity Life. They deal with all the Greeks on and off campus. And she is at home right now, taking care of her firstborn. So she's doing really well at the moment. Justin Donnelly, who is over campus engagement and student government. So he's very busy with campus-wide events, plus student government itself is his own beast of a department. So we have a lot going on the student government. And then Solange Douglas leads the Community Belonging Department. Again, that department handles all of the student groups on campus, as well as other service type activities. They handle the Happy Birthday to Albert event that we had on the North Lawn a few weeks ago, MLK Day, and things of that nature. All right. So we'll start with sorority and fraternity life. As I said before, Simone Horman leads this department. We'll get into another slide after this. I'll give you a little bit of time to read the narrative up top. But they deal with all the houses on off campus. They deal with all of the councils who many of them don't have houses because there's smaller factions, such as the Multicultural Greek Council. They could have, a group that has like 10 members, things of that nature. But the very large ones would be the Interfraternity Council and the Panhellenic Council. Here's some more information on those. So again, you can see the first and last categories are the houses that are on campus that you see, going down Frat Row or across the street on 13th Street, where a lot of the sororities have their houses as well. Let me give you some time. If any of you ever heard of the Divine Nine, we have a annual step show that happens every year in February, and it's a great event. A lot of stepping, a lot of dancing. If you never attended one, it's a cool event to check out. And I meant to mention at the beginning, I do subscribe to Main Street Daily News. So thumbs up on that. And I see Jennifer. We exchange emails all the time, so definitely recognize her. All right. All right, so campus engagement. So this is a department that's led by Justin Donnelly. This is the one I tell you that we do campus-wide events. Our biggest one is Gator Nights. It goes on the entire fall, spring, and summer A semester. It's just something to keep the students on campus, safe events. A lot of it happens here at the Rex Union. Everything's free to the students. So, we'll have movies, we'll have bounce houses on the front lawn, comedians, as you can see there. Whatever they can schedule on a weekly basis happens at Gator Nights. It used to be just on Friday nights. Now it could be on any night of the week, but it's advertised really well out here. This is a good event to, like, if you're just wanting to kind of walk around and kind of hand out flyers and promote what your company does, especially for like the promo items. These are great events to come to because they bring in a lot of students on campus. And then we have our signature events. So the signature events are our events that are annual events that happen that bring in large attendance. So usually about 250 plus students will come to them. Gatorland is actually coming up. It's held here at the Rex Union. It's the entire weekend. It's a bunch of computer gaming that'll be going on in various rooms at the Union. And that brings in, like I said, tons of students. FIS is the step show that I mentioned earlier. It's also a signature event. SwampCon is similar to Comic Con. So they'll rent out the Rex Union for the entire weekend. And you'll see people walking around here in costume, vendors selling items. They'll have dancing events on the North Lawn, anything that has to do in the comic book or anime category goes on that weekend. And then we also have our Chinese New Year celebration, a Dia de los Muertos celebration, and then Humans versus Zombies. So Humans versus Zombies is a student group on campus. They basically go around shooting each other with Nerf guns, turning each other into humans and zombies, but they have a blast. They take up the entire campus and just run around and have a great time. So this is another signature event that brings in a lot of students. And then the Great Gator Welcome, we just celebrated at the beginning of summer being fall. That's a series of events, concerts. We have speakers coming to campus. If any of you are familiar with Malcolm in the Middle or Breaking Bad, we have Bryan Cranston here for a speaking event over at the Collins Center. So got a chance to hear him talk about his life, and it was a good time, a great time. All right, next, community belonging. So this is the department I was telling you about that registers all of the student groups on campus. And like I said, it's 1,100 and counting. So they stay pretty busy. They have registration processes that open twice a year. But they also in themselves have events as well for the student groups. One of the biggest ones that's good to take a note of that happens a few times a year is our student organization fairs. So that's another opportunity for vendors to come, walk around, hand out flyers, promote yourselves. Normally it happens here at the Rats Union. It's normally up here on the third level. Sometimes it spreads to the second level as well, depending on how many student groups are involved. And sometimes it's also on the North Lawn as well. So sometimes it's inside and outside. But it's always a bunch of student groups doing tabling, trying to promote themselves. So like I said, a good time to get around and promote your service. And then also you'll see at the bottom as well, we still have the institutes open across the street. That's just space for students to, come and go and gather. And it's also used for programming as well for all of our departments. So there's always a staff person over there with some kind of meeting or function going on for those spaces as well. All right. Get a little bit into the process when it comes to student groups that get registered. Like I said, there's certain criteria, not a lot of criteria for them. To form a student group, you basically have to have 10 members in your group. You have to put together a constitution. You have to have officers lined up. And then, of course, you work with the Department of Community Belonging to get yourself set up in Gator Connect. And Gator Connect we'll get into later as well, because Gator Connect is a great platform to use when you want to reach out directly to the student groups. All registered student groups, all 1,100 of them are in Gator Connect. You don't need to know their name. You could put in just a term, just, the kind of service you provide. But all of them will come up and you can directly email these student groups. I know we have construction vendor here. So we've had it before where construction vendors use Gator Connect to reach out to student groups for internship opportunities. So this is another way to use that platform. But like I say, every student group that we have registered is in Gator Connect, and it's a valuable tool. And I have a slide on that later as well that we'll go into. I'll give everybody time to finish reading this one. But I'll talk a little bit about the benefits of being a student group, which is why a lot of them get registered. So for instance, if an outside vendor came here to rent the Grand Ballroom, you could be paying, $2,000 easy based on what you need. A student group, a registered student group, can rent that Grand Ballroom, the entire ballroom, for $200. So it's very beneficial for them to get registered and get themselves set up. A little bit more on them. So we have two classifications for student groups. We have our general registered student organizations, and then we have our university-sponsored student organizations. The only difference between the two is, so if a student group on campus has any kind of affiliation with a department on campus, they're categorized as a USSO because they're getting some kind of support from that department, whether it's financial, whether it's some groups on campus have like the mechanical engineering groups, they actually have a garage on campus that department provides. So anything provided by a department gets them classified as a USSO. Good for them in the sense that they have that departmental support. But on the flip side, if any student group wants to come to student government funding for assistance, they have to be a general registered student organization. They cannot have any kind of departmental affiliation. And that's just try to keep things fair as far as, a lot of departments provide a lot of funding. So it's kind of to stop from double dipping is the reason. But all of this is handled through that community belonging department. All right. We'll talk a little bit about Gator Connect. So if you don't have this one saved, Gator Connect, one word, like I said, you can go into the system and up in the search field, if you know the name of the student group, you can put it in there, but you don't have to know the name. If you, for instance, back on the construction, if you type construction in there, every student group that deals with construction and has construction in their constitution will come up. And so you'll get a list of all of the ones that potentially you can reach out to, like I said, for internships or, for other matters when you're trying to promote yourself. Those of you who provide promo items, any of them, all the student groups order promo items around here. A lot of them are heavy into local ones like Radware, and they order from 4imprint, but that's because that's the name they know. So that's why it's important to come to events and come to student org fairs and promote, your service as well, so that, they definitely talk to each other. So, one group starts using a certain vendor, they'll definitely be talking to each other and expand that prospect of, more student groups giving you service. And I had a slide in here for student government, and there was some kind of glitch and I could not get to it because this is almost to the end right now. So I would just talk about student government. I work with student government all 9 years that I've been here. We do a lot. We fund about 500 student groups twice a year. The funding model is very generous. We have 2 steps to our funding. We have step 1, which is called base funding, where it's basically it's $1,025 is the cap. If they ask for it, they get it. It's not much requirement on it. They can use it for anything outside of travel. So they can use it for events, they can use it for promo items, they can use it for general body meetings. Sky's the limit. They can buy equipment with it, which a lot of them do as well. And then we have our second stage of funding, which has 3 categories. So the first category is operational budget. That one they can just use for promotional. So anything that promotes their student group. So promo items, general body meetings, tabling, things of that nature. Banners they get with those fundings. Basically anything that puts their name out there. And then we have the event budget category, which they can ask for up to $20,000 every 6 months with that. Most of them don't ask for the total 20, they usually break it up. But when it comes to products, we order just about anything you can think of. Anything they need for their meetings, anything they need for their events, whether it's small or large items. We order a lot of information. Our budget is about $6 million, so a lot of that gets, we try our best to spend that up throughout the year. So we order a ton of items, and like I said, we fund about 500 student groups every 6 months. So student groups are constantly sending in requests to order items for their events and anything they have going on during that time period. We also have our agencies. So we have Student Government Productions that puts on our concerts. We have the Accent Agency who brings in the speakers. Like I said, we have Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. We've had astronauts. We've had skiers. We've had just the gamut. One of my favorites was we had Terry Crews a few years ago. He's one of the best. We've had Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. So all those large events, we're always buying tons of items for them. Even the speakers that come in, they have their own requests. So we're always, trying to make sure they're happy as well with items. But as far as the student groups, to get yourselves out there, like I said, it's very important to get onto they rely a lot on social media. I'm not big on that kind of advertisement, but it does help. Follow the events that come up on their websites as well. If you do UF campus engagement or UF student engagement, we usually have a list of events that are coming up. But I will also recommend reaching out to, and I'll provide this PowerPoint. But I also recommend reaching out to the individual directors to get a quick meeting. Like I said, we're all here at the Rights Union. You spend some time here at the Rights Union, you can see just about everybody, and promote your product and try to get your name out there and at least leave some information for us to take a look at. I know we have some food vendors that have come through in the past that we use, from this program that we use at our events as well. So come and introducing yourselves face to face is a good way to get your product out there as well. That was it. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Let me figure out how to unshare this without getting out of here.
I want to, before anyone have any questions, I do appreciate you for giving that overview, Gary. I know one of the things is that we try to challenge business owners beyond just looking to engage the operational units, that the student organizations have buying power. So with you going through the respective areas and highlighting some of the different events, it does afford you all on the call an opportunity to be more strategic and connecting with the different units, considering that we have a decentralized procurement nature. So hopefully you all run like, okay, why is he going through all this? In my head, I was like, thank you, Gary. So with that, if anyone have any